queens and kings, if you stopping by, welcome back to my channel. This is your sis, Kathy Vet, coming to you with not just one, but two, because I'm playing catch up. Didn't let you guys know, like a few weeks ago, February 20th to be exact, me and the queen herself, Rihanna, we had a birthday on the 20th. Whew. Being in my channel was for the grown and sexy and those who have lived a little. Yes, I am proud to say I turned 54. You can best believe, in our mind we may feel like we anywhere between 19 and 25. I know I do. But when these years start snatching up on you, slow down. I remember my mother saying, the minute you get out of high school, especially once you get over 21, those years are going to be going like that. And they truly, truly are. And that's going to be another conversation for another time, because we're going to have to get into it. If we could only turn back time, right? But anyway, yes, so happy belated birthday to me. And I don't know, because I don't know if I talked to you guys since my birthday, but because I know I've been a little behind schedule, a lot of things going on, but we're going to go over episode 19 and 20. Before we get into it, please click subscribe, click that notification bell, like, comment. Let's get into the conversation. Those of us of a certain age, a little more seasoned, we may come from a different perspective than our millennials and Gen Zs when it comes to these shows, because I come from a perspective where I'm trying to add a little something to my content based on experience or just what I know, and or what I've learned from others on these situations we see our sisters getting into. So hop on in there and comment. Not like our young people aren't wise, because if you stopping by, I want to get your perspective as well. But being that, I'm a woman of a certain age, we may have, subscribers that may be older. So we may have a different view than those who are, maybe my daughter's age and, others of the millennial generation. So we're going to get into episode 19 and 20. I'm going to combine them. And I believe it will be the finale tonight. Can't wait. I'm going to jump into that one sooner, because then we will be getting to when? I think next week, our girl Fatima and Zach are back with Zatima. So I will be talking about that. And so let's get into it. Now, when we picked up with episode 19, now, Karen had eased on into Danny's Andy's apartment. Don't know how she got in, because she usually got a call, downstairs security, concierge, or what have you. But for some reason, maybe because she's a friend, maybe she's on a list. But Andy did mention, I'm like, how old girl get up in here? And she was listening before she got off, because she commented on what Fatima had to say. But Andy was finishing telling her not to let Karen get in the way of you and Zach. She was coming over to spend the night, cool off, but Karen pops in. And so she's talking as if Andy owes her something, because you know how Karen gets. She's totally jealous with her and Fatima's relationship. But Andy said, I am sick of this shit. She's sick of it. And I really don't blame her, because enough is enough. What did I put in my notes? Yeah, she mentioned how, that she can be friends with both. And I get it. We were friends with someone since college, went through a lot. You've been into each other's lives, and then another person comes in who happens to be a woman who is with your ex and now baby father. And now you mean to tell me that my, college, lifelong friends, just about, she's taking you away from me as well? It can get a little sticky. So, because think about it, I know when I was younger, you tend to be possessive over your friends. And even when we get older, we still may be very territorial when we come to our close friends. So I get it, Karen, but at the same time, you really don't know Fatima. If you got to know her, like Danny said, you may like her. She's a real cool chick, but it's a whole different factor when you are in love still with the man that this woman is with. You're not gonna be so nice. If it was out without that, I'm sure, you know, she could come into that sister circle. But Karen not feeling that when I may have to deal with this woman constantly, especially now that she's engaged to Zach. So I understand both perspectives with that. It won't be easily, but hopefully Karen can get over that. So they're talking, and you know, Fatima told Andi, you know, she'll leave. She said no, stay, because Karen wanted to talk to her because she wanted to apologize. And so Karen basically was saying, look, I don't have anything to do with that. Fatima's like, Zach seemed to think you do, but I told you I don't. And so Fatima's like, I don't know you like that. Like, I don't know what you capable of doing, which is true, even though Andy's sidebar was like, no, she wouldn't. But she said, I don't know that. So she said, I'm telling you, and I don't know what else to tell you except I didn't do it. And so she said, well, why did you kiss him? And she said, you really want to know? So she said, you know, I was thanking him about the child support. So I hugged and kissed on the cheek. Could have on the lips if I wanted to. I'm like, why you had to throw that in there, Karen? Could have if I wanted to, but I didn't. To thank him, the father of my child. You know, Fatima wasn't trying to hear that. I'm like, take it down, Fatima. That is so far as we know, based on what we know already right now, that is her child's father. So it was totally innocent. We are still yet to know who took that picture, why, and why they would send it to Angela to stir up this mess. I still got an issue with that. So yeah, so that was that. So then after that, she basically said that Karen to Fatima that Zach was wrong for what he did. He shouldn't put his hands on come at me like that, and he shouldn't have put his hands on Aaron. And he also did put his hands on Karen to stop her from leaving. So that was wrong, and Fatima said it was wrong. So she left. That was that. She said, you know what, I'm not gonna stay. I'm gonna go home. And I guess she realized and put my big girl drawers on and go and deal with my man, which there really is no reason for you to leave, Fatima, because I don't see what Zach did that bad to really upset you. Yes, he said, I'm not going to sleep on the couch in my own house. You could have very well said the same thing. If he told you to sleep on the couch because I'm upset with you, something, Fatima, and you turn around and say, I'm not going to sleep on the couch in my own house. But I know it's a different situation because you didn't pay for this house. And I understand when somebody says mine and you're independent, because that would be me. You ain't got to tell me twice, I'm up out of your house. But knowing Zach, that wasn't his intention. And this is the thing, Fatima has yet to really know Zach. This is so new. This is why I say this so many times. Please, ladies, let us get over the hurt and pain of past relationships before we start something new. Because all of that mistrust and all that baggage that a person doesn't deserve, you're going to spew it out on them. And all that vomit and toxicity, you're going to let somebody pay for what other people have done in the past. And this is already a very crazy situation you stepping into with a man that you haven't even been with, a year, and you already got two baby mamas and children that he's discovered recently. That's a lot to deal with. That got to be some serious love not to walk away from that. So I can get it. It's still new. And it's like, yeah, I want to put 5-10 years of a relationship and pack it into a short period of time with a level of understanding that hasn't been developed yet. So got to give time. Got to give that time. So next, Gary called Hayden and talked about the money was wired in the account and how Robin, got this money from somebody who used to be a client of Andy's. She represented him in a case. Once Gary told her the name, I guess some street guy, however Andy put it, a loan shark, he got a loan from a gangster. So, yeah, now Gary's like, I can't believe she did this to me. And so, Hayden's so nonchalant. He was like, well, she did. Truth hurts. So he got upset. So Gary then called Andi, asking her if she could come over. Now, Andi like, oh, I gotta get ready for bed. I got something to do tomorrow. It's late. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, let me just come in for a little while. Gary can charm the panties off of her in a heartbeat, which I still don't get. I still don't, some of us are really stuck on stupid for love. But of course, she tells him, like always, yeah, you can come over. I don't know why that man just don't come over, because her answer is going to always be yes until she stops getting stuck on stupid. So that was the case, and he came on over. Now, Fatima gets home. Zach, of course, is happy, and he apologized for what she did. She said she just came by to get some stuff, but he was like, please stay. You know this home is not the same without you. She was like, you can't talk to me like that, Zach. You just can't talk to me any way you want. And I really don't think that Zach should foot all the blame, because she got crazy on him too. Put her hands in his face, which is totally wrong. And if a woman, wouldn't like a man putting their hands on them, which they should not, as women know, we shouldn't put our hands on men either. I mean, she went like that and mushed him in the face. She want to be so tough, and I understand your family background, who your cousin is, and all this, but that was wrong too. So you need to apologize for your actions as well, Fatima. I'm not gonna put all this situation that really went too far. Neither one of you know who took this picture. Trust your man and know he didn't have anything to do with that, and now you know. So there's no reason to get mad. It wasn't some kiss that he did. You saw how heated Zach was before he left. So why is she carrying on? He was pissed with that, and Aaron, the whole situation with Aaron was just getting involved where he felt he should have been quiet on, but at the same time, he was defending his woman as well. So yeah, Zach was wrong for that whole fight issue, but Fatima, I think you was taking that whole situation a little too far, and I think you should apologize to Zach as well. So he's still, of course, gonna have to sleep on the couch. She went on upstairs, and they pretty much settled that situation. I guess they got to calm down apart from each other for a minute. Now, Aaron, they up, and he made breakfast for Karen or whatever. She's on her way to the shop. She apologized to him for what, Zach did the day before. He says, he's all right. I guess his wrist or whatever was hurting his hand. He said feels a little better. So that was basically it with him. She said all the foolishness that he did, just all of this nonsense that Aaron has to put up with. Karen felt bad about that. Put in the comments. I understand you were past and everything, Aaron, and I don't know anybody that's as forgiving and goes so easy with every little thing. And I always had my suspicions in the beginning with Aaron. Then I started to come around a little bit and say maybe he's really a good guy. But for someone you've known in such a short time, and knowing this woman isn't in love with you like you claim you are for her, it's a lot that you forgive Karen for, and there's a lot you put up with. This almost too good. There is some passes in real life that may not have taken all of this. We know this is TV, but come on, you seem a little too good and a little too nice when it comes to this whole situation, Aaron. And we know what coming up in the next episode. My suspicions may have been right all along. Maybe you're not so nice, and there may be a lot that we yet to know about you, Aaron, because we really don't know anything about you. So we shall see. Stay tuned to that. So anyway, after that whole thing, next, Bayou called Sabrina and asked if he could come over because he had so much questions. Now, Calvin's sitting up there. I don't know if Calvin stayed the night before. I don't know what the situation with Calvin. He looked real comfortable laying in that bed, had to button up his shirt. You think something went down with that? Did he just get there, or you think he stayed over? I don't know. He was real chill. But of course, he didn't like the fact that Bayou called, but she said, we're not together, Calvin, and that's true. Now, Bayou wants to know a little bit more. He's been thinking on this, and he has some questions, so he asked to come over. And so that's the situation, and basically, Sabrina told Calvin so he can leave, so she can work on this money for Maurice. This is a big price to pay for Maurice. Even he's your co-worker, friend. I don't know how long y'all been friends, but to stick your neck out like this, Sabrina, with a man that you don't even know, getting this kind of money for Maurice, and he always flashing a whole lot of attitude like you owe him for this, is crazy. And I hope you don't have to pay the price for helping to get Maurice out, because this really is Maurice's fault, period. Um, so yeah, so he left, and one comment that Calvin made, and I don't know if you picked up on this, he was like, I just don't get the fact that Sabrina, this man disrespected me, at the restaurant, and you still want to go out with him, you still like him. And she basically said yes. But Calvin, you came in at the restaurant that day blowing off and embarrassing her in front of Bayou, and he owned that restaurant, which you didn't know because she was out on a date. You and her wasn't treading on good ground at the time, but you came basically acting up yourself. And I don't remember Bayou disrespecting you. He, from his perspective, he was defending himself, and he don't know who you are. Evidently, the way he was carrying on, he figured you probably was somebody she was involved in. The way you was looking, though, didn't look like you may have been interested in the woman he was dating, if you catch my drift. But he didn't get that, and so he just only went on face value. And but I guess Calvin saw that as disrespectful. I don't recall, that was a while back. I didn't think that Bayou was so mean to him, but Calvin was really acting really out of pocket at that time. Now Bayou arrives regarding the situation, and he told her he would help her. Now, do you trust him? He asked her that before, I believe. I don't really see a whole lot of extensive questions that Bayou asked that would change his mind. Yeah, she trusted he wouldn't flee on his bail. That's it. That's all you have to say to give somebody $1 million. So it was very easy. She said that. He was like, okay, I'll help. Of course, she was crying. She was so happy. And I think that little bit of relief, that, not little bit, but that sigh of relief with Sabrina was really relief for herself, because with Maurice out, he's not in jail turning on her with the prosecutor. And I think that's what she was scared of. Is she going to go back to prison and Maurice doesn't get out? So they can work on this particular case to throw it out and deal with Cube, which they should have been working on that situation from the jump. But yeah, so I think that's what a lot of her tears was from, that she gets him out before she goes in, and then he gets out. So, and I get it. But I'm like, wow, she was more emotional, it seemed like, for Maurice. More so than for herself. Does anybody get that? Put in the comments. It seemed like she was really more upset for Maurice and more relieved that he was getting out. But, she was going through it for herself as well. But it was a lot. You would have thought that was a relative, her mom, or somebody she is really going all out for. And to be in debt with someone, who would think in their right mind that a man's going to give you $1 million with no strings attached? Do you really think that Bio is that nice, and you've known him that long, just only went on a couple dates, he's not even your man, to do this for you, and you not even suspecting a thing? They have you sis in this scatterbrained, oblivious role. Sometimes I don't like how they depict her, because a lot of times they have Sabrina like she has no common sense whatsoever. And even though she's the sweetest person, she has the biggest heart. But yeah, show our sister with a little more sense than that, because ain't no way you should be trusting that and that desperate for this money without asking some questions yourself, Sabrina. So that was that. And so he was like, oh, I'm gonna take you out to breakfast. She was like, no, the least I could do is treat you to breakfast. Girl, this man, a prince of a country, he not having you. First of all, he wanted to date you, wine and dine you, have you his lady, have you picked up for work. He said a queen like you shouldn't even be driving. So to offer to drive, you think he gonna go with that? No, he was about to give you a driver. You think he gonna sit up there and have you drive him around? Girl, bye. I know you felt you wanted to do something. Ain't nothing you could do for this man but offering you $1 million to bail your friend. Ain't nothing. No breakfast, dinner, lunch for a year. For years, you would have to be doing to pay this man back. So that was that. So then he picked up, he arrived, wait a minute. Yeah, so now Andy and Gary getting ready for work or whatever, and he trying to smooth talk her with the love and talk. Of course, um, she tried to play it off because he said, "I'm coming by your office today," and she was like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, Andy, stop acting stupid. He knows you're gonna make it more weirder, make yourself look a little more suspect. And he said, "I know already," and we coming by, and this whole situation with Robin and Andy's hand in it, and then she really, started to tell him about why um, she not trying to do anything against him per se, but she trying to save her own neck. She was like, I'm a businesswoman too, and I'm up for partner. I need Robin there to help me with that, and you taking over the company or whatever, you and hating with the situation is making it bad on me. So look at it from my perspective. And he like, oh yeah, I could get it. Okay, you shrewd businesswoman too or whatever. I just don't understand how you still fine with this. Even what he's doing, Andy, to Robin, and then you throwing the shade to Robin is really crazy to me, because this man has helped you a lot with Sabrina and with Maurice, and didn't barely blink an eye, and look how you doing him over Gary, knowing that he has this kind of character to do this to your boss and friend who you had an interest to, and it's all right. You still tend to, this is really making women look like good sex from a man, regardless of how they treat them, physically abuse them, emotionally, and all this madness. And as long as you can put it down like that, women are okay with it. And that's the wrong message in this situation, because no amount of sex or how fine a man is or what they can do for you with Penthouse or Aston Martin car, whatever, make you lose your self-respect and be with someone with such a rotten character just for sex, money, and material things. And many women do this, and you too smart for that, Andy. You too smart. So I'm really waiting to see when she gonna let this foolishness go and get her self-respect back. Now Maurice calls Calvin. Calvin tells him that the African, buy you put up the money, whatever. The African guy, I think that's how you put it. He was like, what? Now you should show a little bit more gratitude than all this attitude, because Maurice like, oh, you mad, Calvin, because you couldn't do it? Ain't nobody got millions of dollars to bail you out. Maurice, the nerve of you. I love Maurice, but this situation, since he got locked up, he really pissing me off, because you really going wild for somebody trying to help you, Maurice. And no, Calvin ain't got no reason, because he wasn't the one to do it. If he don't got it, he don't got it. And what price you and Sabrina gonna pay for this millions of dollars you getting from a stranger anyway? Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so he's teasing him, still calling him names, yeah, bitch, or whatever. I'm like, Maurice, stop. I'm put in the comments what y'all think about Maurice's attitude with Sabrina and Calvin, and the things that he says, even when he was on the phone with Andi that time, and Andi had to check him in her office with Sabrina, and I'm glad she did. You doing too much. You doing a little too much, and I don't think they would have went to bat as hard for you as they did if they didn't fear that prosecutor was going to use you to get Sabrina locked up and have you free. Excuse me if you hear the noises. I don't know. It sounds like a car out there that has lost its tires. So now Fatima and Zach talk, and he apologized, and of course our girl, she waking up too with an attitude still. He got her coffee ready for her. And I'm like, Fatima, take it down, sis. Take it down, okay? But she's telling him, Zach, that he needs to apologize. He needs to chill, because he spoke to and she spoke to Andi, and Andi was saying that the agreement was very good, and she's gonna tell Karen to take that offer. And based on what happened, he said, I think you need to apologize. And he like, you serious? And he said, yeah, because you want to keep it good. You flip the script, and it could be a good, peaceful situation between you and her. Keep it that way, especially after the conversation her and Karen briefly had. I think, Karen said she's really done with it, and she didn't mean anything malicious with that hug and kiss. Um, she wants to keep it good between the two. So I get that. That was good advice. And then she asked Zach if she had spoke to Heather. She saw she was on her phone and Zach like everything okay. I don't know if it's gonna go as smooth as you think. With that girl, what's her name, Tamara or whatever, the little decoy with Hayden. I don't know if it's gonna go as smooth as you think, because she found out from Tamara that Hayden called her, and Hayden's supposed to be meeting with Heather, so she want to talk him into dropping that whole case. I don't know how she's gonna have him drop the case with Heather coming over. I don't know how that conversation is gonna go down, how she's gonna persuade him, what reason she is going to use to have him get rid of this client, to do Zach in. What do you have to do with my client, or the person that she's filing suit against? What do you have to do with that will make me drop her as a client? Just some good punani. I don't know if he's that blind by that to just drop her as a client, but we shall see. But he's saying, Fatima's basically telling Zach, don't worry about it. Heather's going to be dealt with. Now, in the meantime, you got Dani and Q getting up the next morning. Now, oh, God. I'm like, Dani. This is another thing of the point of what I was saying. With these women losing all kinds of respect, every bit of common sense that you have for a romp in the hay. That can be very detrimental either way to your livelihood, to your life, Dani. You have taken this episode so many chances of Russian roulette with your life. It's not even funny. That's why I hope next season they will get a little bit more after the intervention into Dani's life, into what happened to Dani, why she is so promiscuous and doing the things that she's doing, taking this gamble and not feeling she is, worth a good, solid relationship with someone that really cares and will respect her and defend her, someone that really wants you in an honorable way, and not what these other men are doing. But you putting yourself out like that. And if you put yourself out like that, ladies, this is how men are going to treat you. So a lot of times that comes with living a little bit. You got to go through certain things to realize you may not have those individuals in your life to maybe teach and show you. Many of us, like myself, unless, I was taught that, given those tools, those guidance, who knows? I could be another Dani or Andi or whatever. But it's going to take ones to try to let you see that you're better than that. So she get up with him and she's like, like Dani always do, it's time for you to leave. And, he's like, oh, this is what you do. She was like, well, isn't this what you do? You sleep with women, you toss them out the next day or whatever. Done with him. He was like, well, we going in the same place to work. We don't have a relationship. It is what it is. And move on. She's done. It wasn't like she tried to get into anything deeper. She just had a moment that she wanted to fulfill, and she done with you. But you got to realize who you laying down with, Dani. Little do you know. So now she's about to find out. She is about to find out. He goes in the shower, and Preston calls her on the phone. He wants to see her. She's like, Preston, it's not a good time. He was like, okay. He's so patient with her. I thought Preston was already supposed to be on a plane to get up out of here. But he talking about, then I'll meet you later on tonight. Preston, what happened to you? I'm getting on the plane. Last y'all spoke, you was out of here. I don't know if they forget what they write or what. But Preston is still hanging on. He'll tell her that, and he ain't get on no plane to go nowhere yet. He was like, I'll talk to you. She said, I'll talk to you tonight. So he was like, okay. Now Sabrina's all happy. She pops in. And she's like, Maurice getting out? And she was like, yeah, we got the money or whatever. And she was like, great. And then she hears something in the bathroom. And so she's like, who is that? And so she was ready to tell her the good news, and then the door opens, and she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "That's right, finally, finally." So we jump into episode 20, and Sabrina is shocked to see it's Q. Oh my God, it's Q. So Q in the house, and I'm like, Lord, he has the nerve to be like, hi, like his friend. She's like, no, no, no. So Danny's like, what's going on? Did y'all sleep together? They both like, no. And she's like, he slept with Maurice. She like, no, 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 no. No, I ain't just sleep with the same man that Maurice slept with. That was enough by itself. But then to find out that this is the Q I've been talking about, that's why I'm like, y'all never put two and two together. I don't recall Sabrina ever mentioning Q's name. And then she never, I don't think Dani had no reason to mention the guy that works at the airport with her. So they never really crossed that, I think communication to really know. She's like, I cannot believe this. Like, I can't believe this. Atlanta's like too small. This can't be that you slept with this. And she was like, yeah, Atlanta is too small, which I heard, because the pickings is very slim for the ladies. Very slim for the ladies. And she's like, oh my God, like, what did you just do? So Sabrina's pissed. Q act like he didn't do nothing wrong. He's sitting there like, you just didn't try to take this woman's freedom away. Like, ain't nothing wrong. And still want to hang around there and have them like chill. I would have grabbed my clothes so quick and hauled up out of there before feds and cops come for me. But the attitude Q had was like, what? Nothing's going to happen to me. I don't understand what the problem is, Dani. What? We should keep seeing each other. Like, the nerve, Q. Like, you so delusional right now. So that was that. And he finally got up out of there. And Sabrina is just like, this is bad. Like, why are you doing this, Dani? Why are you doing this? This is the same thing that you did when we was in college. And it needs to stop. And she said, me and the girls gonna have to get together, and I'm letting them know. And she was like, you don't have to say nothing to them. She said, but I am. And she's totally mad. But an intervention is needed. Therapy is needed. Y'all got to get to the bottom of why this. First of all, I'd have been much madder than Sabrina took with this whole Q thing. I would have been livid to see him in there in her house with her when I was just in jail because of this man. So I still think everybody took it real easy for the situation. I was looking for a little bit more flip the table type mode after seeing that mess. But they're going to talk to her because, yeah, our girl needs some help. Now, Andi gets to the office. She realized that Paris sent some flowers, the janitor guy, and I don't know why he trying to get some flowers. But once she found out from the secretary, it came from the lady down at the street. And the girl was so happy about it. Like, this is beautiful. I know the woman who did these flowers. I guess, she sell out there. That was so beneath Andi. Her bougie side came out and was like, the lady at the corner, you can have these. The girl was so happy to get them flowers. I'm like, Andi, let's ask the question, not where the flowers came from, because they're beautiful regardless where they came from. The fact of the matter is, why is Paris giving flowers? That you should put a stop to. Because I don't know what old boy is thinking giving you that after all this time, but you need to be more concerned with that than the lady at the corner. Come on, don't be like that. Now, then she goes into Robin's office and finds out that the guy that she recommended to Robin, that man is looking for more money, looking for more interest or whatever. All of this stuff, I mean, is really getting ugly. And that's because Gary, come to find out, spoke to this man and making it real hard on the situation. Now he's looking at Andi like it's a setup with Gary. Are you in on this? And she's like, why would you think I would do that? Well, why would he think that? You dealing with the man who's trying to take his company away. You sleeping with him. Now you giving me this man, and now he's flipping the script and giving me these, other conditions to this loan. Yeah, it's looking suspect, Andi. It's looking very suspect. So I don't blame him for wondering, like, why are you upset? This is a bad situation. You know, you saying that you tried to help, and this is what killed me. You know, I just tried to help you. Um, you know, all offended that he would think that she would do something like that. So next time you need help, go elsewhere because I'm done. I don't even know what to say to that. When she said that, my eyes almost popped out of my head. I'm like, look at what this man just did for you. This man practically took everything he had and gave to you to help your friend because he liked you that much. And you said next time, after one little favor, all you did is give him a referral. You ain't come up with no $1, 2, 3 million. You gave this man a referral, and now you saying next time you need my help, go elsewhere. Okay, Andy. Okay. Because at the end of the day, you looking the worst out of all these situations with Gary, with Hayden, Robin. You the one that's looking like you got egg on your face. You the one that looks real bad and cheap, and then you coming off like this. Ungrateful, sis. Ungrateful. Put in the comments what you thought about that statement that she made. I think she was going totally out of order for that. So now Calvin comes by. Sabrina told him that Bayou was helping. He doesn't trust it. Neither do I, Calvin. Seriously. Sabrina, I don't know what she told him that she saw Q. Didn't tell her where she saw Q, but said that we need to do something about this. The minute you got out of jail, you should have been doing something. When you was going off, pop Q in Maurice's house, you should have been on a that should have been your focus. Getting Q, finding out how he got out, how he set me up, and building a case against this man so he can go to jail, so he can be the real one to get in jail. And you and Maurice won't have to worry about that. Not now. Now that you saw him, that he's sleeping with one of your best friends, that you want to do something about him. Y'all should have been doing something about him. So yeah, they like, we got to do something. Now Maurice calls, and Sabrina tells him Bayou's going to help him. He all happy, talking about when he get home, he going to take a nice bubble bath, and he going to get that African or whatever. I'm like, first of all, it ain't happening with Bayou. Don't even look his way. He surely ain't going to be with that, Maurice. And, you know, you just so happy instead of having a little humility and a little more gratitude. But that's Maurice. It would not be Maurice without some jokes. And this man got the nerve to be talking this madness next to the guy that's on the phone next to him. Gets off the phone talking about choke me and all this wild stuff and coming on, basically flirting with this guy. If this was real life and you was in jail for real, Maurice, for whatever extended period of time, I guess you're going to be tossed around all over the place because that was going a little too far. I'm like, Maurice, you're doing too much. You are doing too much. Oh my God. Trying to seduce the man on the phone next to him. He crazy. So now Andi in her office with Fatima, she brings her some coffee. And they basically giving each other a temperature check on how things went. She said Karen apologized. She said that's good. She said how's everything with Zach? She said, you know, that pretty much went good. And she said, this is when she told her that she went over the contract and it was good, and she's gonna tell Karen to sign because that was generous. And then they see Tamara coming out the office with Hayden, and they say like, what's that about? She was like, I don't know, but I'm about to find out. So, that was crazy. And then Fatima, after that, she tried to tell Tamara that you can't be here trying to get a job. You can't. She was like, I know. And saying that, you know, the plan is still as usual. But then when her and Fatima finished talking, she was like, oh, I'm going to get this job. I'm going to get this job and get the money and everything else that comes with it. You know, this is when it's going to get a little sticky, because if you think you're going to still get a job, Fatima not going to deal with you. She's not going to call up Madam to try to handle you. Girl, stick to the plan. Stick to the plan, because when it comes to Madam, you ain't going to be able to hide from her, and Hayden sure ain't going to be able to help you. So She trying to get more out of this deal, and she still wants to work there. I mean, that whole situation is gonna get crazy, and like I said, it's not gonna play out as smooth as Fatima thinks. It really isn't. Now, Gary and Hayden meet with Robin. They come in all cocky for the meeting. Robin like, okay, you can sit down, have a seat. Hayden, you can sit down too. When he all smug, you know, that little troll. Hayden gets on my nerves. So, he said, they got the money. They was like, okay. But Gary springs up on him that the partners decided to invest more. Another $10 million, which means that Hayden will have to come up with another $3 million. And Hayden is like, oh, okay. And I'm like, looking like, Robin, you taking this? Well, no, Robin said, hey, okay. But he seemed a little too calm for the situation. But it was crazy. So he's like upset and confused. Well, Robin and Gary and Hayden, excuse me, are a little confused trying to figure out like why he isn't as crazy or worried as they thought. And then he's like, okay. They was like, well, he was like, I'll get to you. I forgot how he put it. I need that, but I'll need some time. And Hayden said something about, but you evidently didn't read the contract. He said, I did. You didn't read the contract. It says, have the money deposited within certain reasonable amount of time. And you springing this on me the same day, thinking I'm going to have it in there in an hour or two is not reasonable time. So they saying, okay, what do you think is reasonable time? And he said 30 days. And they like, looked at each other like, no, not no 30 days. We ain't trying to hear it. And then he said, all right, then, well, what's reasonable? And then he said, I'll have it to you by 5 o'clock. I'm like, I'd be doggone. Robin had evidently had another plot going. I don't know. If I was Robin, I would be dealing with the loan shark guy. But evidently, he needed to go to this gangster before the first time because he didn't have it. So I'm like, are you still dealing with this guy? Like, what happened between the time he spoke with Andi until now that coming up with another... Well, he knew when he spoke to Dani about that whole situation with them making more money. I want to know what strings he's pulled this fast to not worry about it and to come up with another $3 million like that. That's what we have yet to see. But Hayden and Gary was pissed that the plan yet again did not work. Okay, did not work. Now, Sabrina arrives at the office, and Andi informed her that Maurice is getting out, and she can go and get him. And Sabrina goes to tell her about the story with Q sleeping with Dani. And she's like, what? The same Q? And then she went into saying, Atlanta's just too small. She was like, I know. Like, everybody's saying that. But it's crazy because, she said, we're going to have to meet and do this intervention. She said, I agree, and they supposed to go afterwards. I don't know why everyone to me is taking this so calm with the situation with Q and Dani. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy on her part. Yes, she needs an intervention. But at the same time, why, especially Andi as an attorney, is not saying we need to get to the bottom of this whole case with Q and how he got out and what happened, because we need to get Q in jail. He still robbed the bank and he's running out here free, screwing our friend. So, yeah, y'all should talk about that. Not just Dani, into who she's sleeping with. The girl didn't know who he was. But y'all do, and y'all should have been working on a case against Q. So then she asks her, well, how did you get this man? He's giving you $1 million. Like, what the situation with Bayou. And she's saying, why do you think that's strange? This is where the air brain part of Sabrina comes in. Why do you think this is strange? Somebody can buy you nice things. Gary gets you a condo and a car, but nobody can do nice things to me. No, Sabrina. No. Not after knowing somebody for a minute. 5 minutes you knew this man. And now you think that giving you $1 million is like asking for a $500 loan. This is $1 million. Not for you, but for a friend who he doesn't really comfortable with. doesn't really trust in taking your word that he's not going to run, he's supposed to not the same situation, Sabrina. Not the same situation for you to compare that. That was so stupid to even compare Gary and Andi and what he's giving her to this man here. No. African Prince giving you $1 million like it's not. Oh, he likes me. She said, oh, he must really like me. Okay, Sabrina. Now Karen is at the shop. Okay? She's at the shop, and she gets a call. Andi wanted to tell her, about meeting up at Dani's. But she's busy perming her hands or whatever, doing the client's hair. And so Pam takes the message and tells her she'll have to call her back or what have you. She's busy. So her and Pam are talking. Of course, she's giving her instructions like she always do, like she's 10 and doesn't know what she's doing, and about locking up the shop and calling, taking pictures and all this crap. Yeah, okay, Karen. So, yeah, she does that. In comes Aaron. Of course, Aaron is telling her she has to stop with her clients and eat. You real bossy, Aaron. Telling me what to do. I'm working on my clients. I'll see if it's okay with them. They can wait so I can go eat. I get you concerned about me, but, you're doing a little too much, Aaron. But, okay, then he realized, she agrees. Okay, he's going to go in the office to get the food, but then he forgot his fork, spoon, something. He's going to get the utensils out the car. That's that. Fast forward. Now, well, not fast forward, but in the meantime, you have Zach. And it ends with Zach getting a little visitor at the door, asking for Fatima. How does this man know where Fatima lives? Who gave this man the address? The same mysterious person that took the picture and gave to Angela? How this man knows where Fatima's living? Not her house where she was living, but the one she has with Zach. How did he know where to find her? But it's the news that he gave. Who are you? Zach like, no, you're not leaving that quick. That's my woman. I want to know, why are you looking for her? I'm her baby's father. What you say? Zach like, what did you just say? Yes, this is Fatima's baby daddy. And as we saw in the previews, he like, what do I not know about you? Are you telling me everything about your life? I don't know what she's going to say. And I really don't think that Fatima is hiding a child. And put in the comments what you think about this situation. I think this is somebody that Fatima got pregnant by. It wasn't just Ian, okay? The last one, for those of you who watched Fatima, I don't think it was her ex. We know that she had a baby by him and lost it. I think she was pregnant another time, and this man, and she may have lost that one. I don't see her hiding a child. I see that this man is saying her baby father when the baby doesn't exist. Yeah, that's just my take. But we shall see. And also, we see in the preview, our man Aaron, taking me back to my first suspicions, is hiding a little something or someone who evidently is following him to Karen's shop and going the hell off in that parking lot. And Pam sees and says, it looks like it's a little heated out there. Woo, Aaron, you about to mess up, buddy. When y'all was just on a good streak, that streak ain't looking too good now. Cannot wait for the finale. We going to tune in tonight and get into it in the next day or two. So thank you again for joining my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment, and get into what you thought about these past 2 episodes. Until next time, remember to stay authentically you and live the life you deserve. You only get but one.